Joining me now, Catherine Garcia, New York mayoral candidate, former sanitation commissioner, and pandemic food czar. Welcome to you. It's really good to meet you virtually. I'm going to be speaking to Andrew Yang later this hour, as you know. You campaigned with him over this weekend, so explain to the uninitiated why you were campaigning together. Was this a gang up on Eric Adams attempt, since he is polling first?
This is really about making sure that New Yorkers know that they need to get out to the polls and that you have an opportunity with ranked choice to vote for something rather than against another candidate. I spent some time with my mother making sure she understood that if I wasn't running, who she would pick, and then next and next and next. So understanding ranked choice and that it means that we can actually have a really positive campaign.
Well, the Brooklyn Borough President, of course, Eric Adams, he's blasting you and Andrew Yang for not only campaigning together, but doing it on Juneteenth. And he says your allegiance will disenfranchise black voters, that it's hypocritical to criticize Yang and then turn around and campaign with him. So I want to give you a chance to respond.
I am campaigning to make sure that every New Yorker gets out there and votes. I want to see us have actually easier ways to vote, to have same-day registration. The right to vote is incredibly important, and you've got to make use of it. New York City passed ranked choice voting by 73%. This is something we wanted to see happen, and it gives you the chance to actually vote for 5 candidates, and means that it is likely that whoever ends up being mayor will be somebody that was on your ballot.
There was a recent WNBC Telemundo poll that had you and Eric Adams as the top 2 vote getters after multiple rounds. The poll has you 12 points behind him. So how do you catch up?
This is going to be a close race. And I will also say again, it's unlikely to be known tomorrow night exactly who the winner is. And we're going to have patience, something New Yorkers are not known for. But we will actually, in the end, be able to really have a vote that is counted and counted well and reflects the majority of New York City's views.
One big issue has been a big spike in shootings and other kinds of attacks, subway attacks against Asians, against Jews. How are we going to address the rising violence while being sensitive to the treatment of Black Americans by police?
This is a personal issue for me. I was adopted, as was my brother and sister who are Black. Everyone has to be safe regardless of the color of their skin. But we do have to combat the rise in shootings. And I have a plan to get 10,000 guns off the street and expand the gun suppression division within the NYPD, as well as do gun buybacks. And for what we've seen in terms of the rise of subway attacks and anti-Asian hate crimes in particular, is these have been perpetrated oftentimes by people who are suffering from mental illness. We need mental health professionals working with the NYPD to get them the services they need so that the crime is never committed.
A somewhat related issue, because mental illness is often the root of homelessness. What about this rise in homelessness? And explain how you're planning to cut the homeless shelter population in half. Do you support the experiment to make no-string payments to young homeless people? What is your plan? If you could explain it better than I have.
Absolutely. Housing heals. Housing makes it so you have better mental health, that you can get an education, that you can maintain a job. My plan to cut homelessness is really multi-pronged. It's about building deeply affordable housing. It's about giving people vouchers that are actually something you can rent an apartment on. And it is about expanding supportive housing services, which means that there are mental health and substance abuse services on site where you live so that you can maintain that home. We have to have a housing first strategy rather than a shelter first strategy, because not only is it the right thing to do, it actually be fiscally responsible. We're spending $3 billion a year on a shelter system that basically serves no one.
And coming back from COVID, what about the financial burdens upon the city?
So it is actually starting to feel alive in New York City. We had some dire moments, but we've stood by our small businesses and they are coming back to life. But we've got to continue to support them with small business loans that are 0% interest, that we cut the bureaucracy and make sure there is a one city permit that we talk about being open for business and lead with art and culture and restaurants and music, the things that differentiate us from every other city in the United States and makes us the best city in the United States.
Well, we love New York, and I love the picture of you doing yoga on Times Square. So that's certainly the spirit of New York coming back. Thank you very much. Good luck out there on the campaign trail. Kathryn Garcia, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
You bet.